For this project, I'm going to be doing a book cover for one of my favorite authors, Raymond Carver, and the book is titled What We Talk About When We Talk About Love. Now we have all the different elements that need to go into this, but one of the first things we need to do is develop our template so that we're designing to the correct proportions. So I've measured my book cover, and I've created this as my template. Okay, so I've got my front cover, my back cover, inside front flap, inside back flap, and then the spine. Okay, so this is the template to which I'm going to start designing, and this is how it'll be laid out. The next step I want to do is map out the different elements, and remember we talked about creating a hierarchy, and that's where we list every single thing that's going to go on this thing, from the images to the titles to the author's name, and all the way down to the pricing of the book and the barcodes. So I'm going to map this out. So on the front I'm going to have the title, the author, and then a compelling image. On the back I want to have a nice image also that doesn't compete with the front, but kind of maybe gives us a different feel. I also want to put a blurb about the book, and a blurb is usually like a quote from a reviewer or a respected publication that is giving their opinion about this this particular book. The barcode, the publisher's logo, has to go on the back cover. On the inside front, I want to have a quick short bio of the author, the publisher's name and logo, the price of the book, and then on the inside back, I'm going to just put other titles by this author. All right, so I've got these things, and then I'm going to come up with my image first. Right? So let's say this is the image I'm going to be using. I just liked the weird, moody feel of this photograph. Then I'm going to come up with the title. I'm going to put the title in here and come up with my typography. Okay, so this is What We Talk About When We Talk About Love, Stories by Raymond Carver. It feels like it needs to come together a little bit stronger to me, and I felt like it's just too much white. So what if I reverse that? And now I feel like it's got a nice cohesive front to it. I think those blacks are picking up really beautifully up from the inside of the fireplace and the clothing on the floor. So this is the front cover designed. I'm going to design the back cover next. Just going to look like this, and I've got my image, a little blurb here where it talks about praise for other books that he has written, a little thing saying that Raymond Carver is one of the premier storytellers. I've got the barcode and the publisher's logo and name and address here. For the flaps and the spine, I've got to then design those. And so you see I put an author photograph, all the way down to little details like photo by here on the author's photo, a really short little bio about the author, some information about the book, the publisher's name and address, and up at the very top right hand corner I have the price of the booklet or book. On the back flap I have other books by Raymond Carver, and I just list them with a short one little sentence description of what those books are about to kind of tease us into the other books in our series. And then on the spine I have my title, really clear so we can read this from across the room when it's on a bookshelf. The author's name, Stories by Raymond Carver here, and then I'm going to reiterate the publisher's logo and name. So this gets us to where we are with designing the book cover. Okay, this of course extremely abbreviated, but I just wanted to show you and walk you through how we're going to put this thing together and where the different elements need to go and all the things we need to be thinking about for our book covers. Okay, that's going to take us to our book cover being done. And now we need to print it. Now with many of you, your book cover is not going to fit on an 11 by 17 piece of paper. If it's a very small book, maybe it will. But with those flaps particularly, you might have to find that you're going to print it on a slightly larger piece of paper. Now you can either go to the CVT and print a large format print. So maybe it would be 20 inches wide or even 30 inches wide to make it wrap around your book cover when you're making your mock-ups. But if you need to just print it on 11 by 17 or tabloid paper on one of the laser printers in one of the studios here, there are ways that we can do that. And what I would suggest is just go ahead and open your file. Like for instance, let's say my book cover is actually this big. Right? We can see it's not going to fit on a tabloid piece of paper. So what we want to do, we can print this in just 2 pieces. And I would just select everything and move it so that one portion of it is going to fit on my piece of paper. Okay? Then while it's all, and print. And I would make a couple of prints just so you have them in case you mess up something. And then I'm just going to move the entire thing as it's all selected over. So now then the second part is going to fit with on my document, and make a couple of prints of this. Then all we have to do is cut them, find a really unobtrusive place where these are going to, where it can join together, cut them and glue them together with, I would probably use rubber cement and glue them. And then when we mock this up and actually put it on a book, it'll be like an unobtrusive place, like I said, like maybe right along this edge or along this edge right here, where we're not going to really notice it that much. You don't want your seam to go like right through the middle of the cover, right? You want to find a place where it's not going to really bother us and not stick out. And then we can just glue them together and make a mock-up, and we're not going to really notice at all those places where it's been glued together. Okay, so that gets us here, and hopefully this is helpful for you as you're wrapping up your book cover designs.